Jai Shri Mataji. I would like to introduce myself. I am Usha Vaklu from Faridabad. I got my realization in 2011 in USA. Since then, I am totally dedicated to Sahaja Yoga. Whatever the activities are there, Sahaja Yoga activities, I attend to these. Sahaja Yoga is my first priority. Here we have an honorable person, a very dedicated person to Sahaja Yoga, Shri Sanjay Talwar ji. He has dedicated his whole life to Sahaja Yoga. He has tried his best to spread Sahaja Yoga in the whole world with the help of his songs, bhajans, music, poetry, and now lately his 2 films. Sanjay Talwar ji, I would like to know from you that you have spent so many years, over 40 years of your life in Sahaja Yoga. What are your future plans?
Jai Shri Mataji. This is Sanjay Roshan Talwar. I'm so happy to be back, and I am back with a message that it has been such a wonderful journey in Sahaja Yoga since I started in 1981 when I met Shri Mataji for the first time. And then on 1984, she invited me home to her London home in Brampton Square where I got my self-realization. And thereafter, she first blessed me with all the good things that should happen in my life. And it really literally took that turn, and it went one by one, everything just unfolding in my life. First came the purpose for which I was traveling at that time in 1984 was to get business for my enterprise that for which I was working. And I got a huge order, which I was not struggling to get for a long time. And that was the first blessing I had from Shri Mataji. And after that, the blessings never ceased. Because every time that I was in contact with her, she was either in Delhi or in Pune, or she was traveling between London and India. Most of the time she was in UK when she was spending that time with Sir CP. And I had this immense fortune that my father, who took to Sahaja Yoga also, was along with Shri Mataji most of the time, and learning at her feet, we understood all the nuances and all the how Sahaja Yoga really works within us. And then she, of course, gave me the opportunity to become a singer, a writer, a composer. There were instances when I would be with her and she worked on my chakras. And then she gave me an amazing experience by the opening of my Vishuddhi chakra. Through this, my throat sort of softened so much. Then when I started to travel with her during her public programs within India and overseas, this was a period of a good 5-7 years that I traveled with her. A lot of music was made, and she also participated in the poetry which I was making. And this also served the purpose of spreading Sahaja Yoga. During her public programs, I traveled with her overseas and I was singing. And then she said that, no, this is not enough. You have to record and you have to bring all your music to all the Sahaja Yogis, and that they must purchase your cassettes or CDs whenever they come to Ganpati Pule. So she decided on everything. She was just directing me how I should do it, and she was even sometimes monitoring my music cassettes, recordings. It was so amazing that all this was like a dream fulfillment that was happening for me. Before Sahaja Yoga, I was a denied child, and after Sahaja Yoga, I was the sought after child. Could not a mother do better for a child, a son like me? And I was always glued at her feet, always coming whenever she wanted me to come. Whether it was a puja, whether it was a public program, I was always present. And this journey of mine, from 1984 to 2006, it never ceased. But the musician in me, as it grew, as the poetry grew, as my meditation and my depth grew through in Sahaja Yoga, I am so fortunate that one fine day, I came at her feet in Bombay. It was in 2002. I had just done my album, Jai Jagdambe Ma. And she said, I want this music to go to the whole world. How can you do it? And then she closed her eyes and she said, go to the Times of India group and they will release your music. And verbatim what she said, I went the very next day with my cassette. I spoke to the man concerned. I was so lucky, everything just fell in place right on time. and they signed a 10-year contract with me. And thereafter, another company where Shri Mataji used to tell me how ghazal singing is so sad and so morose, and the whole ghazal singing makes you so left-sided and always crying. She said, you have to do something about this ghazal singing. All that she had to tell me that was I started studying a series of ghazal namas written by a very great writer, and he compiled the ghazals of all the old poets, and from there I picked up some positive ghazals. And when I picked that up and I showed them to Shri Mataji, she said, you should release it. And the minute she said that, Saregama HMV released it worldwide. It was called Ishq Ka Nagma. So that was the major beginning of a world breaking of my music becoming overseas, very popular. Thereafter, that very moment, that very time when I was at her feet, she said, you have enough of music now. What you should do is make films. You should go into the audiovisual medium. And from there started this journey. Of course, she told me in 2002, but it took me 17 years to figure out how I would do it. Of course, when I told her that, Shri Mataji, I don't know filmmaking. And she said, well, you are not making it, I am making it. And then she said, okay, don't worry. And she gave a lot of bandhans. And at that bandhan time, she said, when these bandhans are working, each bandhan is going to open a door for you. The minute you make an effort to go ahead and make this for my sake, you will see everything opening and everything falling in place. And that is exactly what happened when I started Grihalakshmi, the Awakening in 2017. Everything happened in place. I met the right people, I met the right technicians, even the right people who could write story for me. Aparna Gangopadhyay, I met the great, she was a film critic at that time. I didn't know her, but somehow it just occurred to me that she can write the story. And she wrote this story so beautifully. And then it was developed by Arvind Pandey, another Sahaja Yogi who works with Whistling Woods International. He's an acting head there. He used to teach acting. So I had got the right people in the right profession. I met Adri Thakur, he was a cinematographer. I met Nishant Vishwakarma, who also is a cinematographer. And they are also practicing Sahaja Yogis. And then I met the head of the editing department who actually edited Grihalakshmi, the Awakening for me. And you know what Grihalakshmi did. The minute it was made and released in 2019, it made houseful cinemas. Lakhs of people went and saw it in cinemas. We had 250 houseful shows. It won 1 award. And thereafter the pandemic came. And the minute the pandemic came, we were forced to sit back and sort of recap ourselves as to what we should do next. And then came the idea of making Mahalakshmi Path, the evolution. And the minute the Mahalakshmi Path, the evolution concept evolved, the same team made bigger, and the project became bigger, and it became a nice, full-fledged Bollywood film of 2 hours, 5 minutes. And this was controlled by some great people from Bollywood who used to check on how to edit these films and how to mentor the edits as well as the story. And they got involved from the very beginning. And as Mother said, doors opened. People came forward, you came forward, so many Sahaja Yogis came forward, and they gave everything to us. I mean, of course, we needed funds to make the movie, but other than that, their support was forthcoming in many formats. And that is how a team of 10, 12 people who made Grihalakshmi expanded to over 100 of us. And they were all together with me. And then in 2000, it took me time, 3 years to make the movie. Of course, it was a lot of effort and a lot of hard work. And I was involved at every stage, from story writing to actually looking at a location, booking the artists, having the rehearsals, and arranging the shoot, then being at the shoot, and then managing the shoot, and everything. I was there. But there were people who were helping me. But it was a one focused direction that this movie must reach the armed public, the masses. And we have to take this message of Shri Mataji through cinema as she wanted it. And it did happen. And how it happened, 2023, when it was released in October, I started applying to all the international film festivals. This movie went far and wide in the world, far and wide in India, to all the film festivals. And they started picking up my movie for selection, then nomination, and then awards. And guess what? From then till now, we have got 114 awards Now, isn't that amazing? Because these people who have awarded us, they are not Sahaja Yogis. They are from the film fraternity who actually select films on the basis of the merit, the technical and the content. And they liked Shri Mataji because this movie is nothing but Shri Mataji and what she's teaching us in Sahaja Yoga. So the concept of Grihalakshmi went to Mahalakshmi, which is the central path, and people were able to connect with the stories. And then I said, I have to make this available to all the Sahaja Yogis. Now, how do I do? There was no way to get to the bottom of this and reach out to the people so that maximum number could see, because these films were giving realization. So what we could see is that when they were released, people who booked the halls, they were able to give realization to the people in the halls. And a lot of people who would not listen to their families of coming to Sahaja Yoga, through this watching a movie, just a story, they just joined Sahaja Yoga. And many people came back to me and said, I have been trying for years and years, I could not get my family, but the minute I took them for the movie, they started to practice Sahaja Yoga. And they became so grateful. And I said, you have to be grateful to Shri Mataji because it was her vision and I am just an instrument. And this I always remembered because when I told her, Shri Mataji, how will I do it? I remember she said, you are not doing it, I am doing it. You are just an instrument. So just surrender yourself and pray to me. And you won't believe it, even during the time of making the movie and then showing the movie, we would pray to Shri Mataji, please work it out. And she did it miraculously. And so I now feel all the blessings of our Divine Mother are just showering upon me with these awards and with the people appreciating the film all over India. Then it went to the world. Last year in Diwali, I was invited to Austria for the puja. 250 people watched the film in Austria. Then again they watched it in the Nirmala Prasthashram. Then again they watched it in Farlak with the help of Deepak and Evelyn Midda. So there were people who then started to realize its great potential because this movie was made in English. It had English subtitles and it has people started offering to make subtitles on it. So then we made German subtitles, we made Russian subtitles, we made Chinese subtitles. I think we've got about 7-8 languages already, and it's on Vimeo with the subtitles. And even it was shown in Russia. I believe it has been shown in China. It has been shown in different parts of the world. As news is pouring into me, people are loving the film and joining Sahaja Yoga or using it to spread Sahaja Yoga. So therefore, this message of spreading Sahaja Yoga through films became very, very clear and evident to me that this is the right way to go. And then I must share one thing with you. When I got the 108th award, which is the Bharat Gaurav Award, which I got, which is lying here, you can see. And that award, I was so excited. I took it to Yogi Mahajanji. You know, Yogi Mahajanji has been my mentor, my elder brother, since the time he used to be with Shri Mataji all the time. And I do remember those times when Shri Mataji told me that if and when you don't find an audience with me, go to Yogi Mahajan. And so that became a matter of, a great opportunity for me, that every time I would come up with a project or with an idea, I would go to him and then he would, just give me some guidance and be a guide to it. And therefore, I felt I should take this award to him. And when I took this award to him, we placed it on a table and it came to him. I think, Sanjay, you should continue and make films. Well, we slept over it overnight. I happened to sleep with him in this house. And then overnight, he had this dream. He woke me up early morning at 4 o'clock and said, Sanjay, I have had a dream.